Onyx DAO is moving like a well-oiled machine. It would seem that those involved with the creation of Chain, now XEN, were years ahead of schedule. You are now tuned in to ShookFocuz, and it is time.
Previously on ShookFocuz.
Onyx is a layer 3 rollup built on Arbitrum Orbit, and base layer 2 significantly reduces transaction costs and confirmation times compared to layer 1 networks. And they keep the ability to deploy subchains. We won't get into those payment rail type systems at a later time, but we know who they are by now if you understand infrastructure concepts. I tried to tell y'all about Dan Moorhead before, but wasn't nobody listening. I must didn't put my back in it. Look at what he came up through. Mortgage derivatives trader at Goldman Sachs, and this is putting it lightly, he was the first mortgage derivatives trader at Goldman Sachs. Global head of foreign exchange options for Deutsche Bank. That's just the largest bank in Germany. No big deal, because they're stemming from BlackRock, bro. That's why the names are the same. It's a BlackRock, bro. It's a BlackRock. Where my Pokemon fans at? Onyx. He's a rock, bro. Just a black rock.
It's time to shake the focus up. Sick of being sick and tired. Tell me if you had enough. Yeah, it's Shook's in the building now. We ain't missing nothing. We gon' catch you if they gotta run.
What is good, y'all? What is good? Thanks for tuning in and welcome back to another episode. Time to ring a ding ding that Onyxcoin bell. But before we get started, I just want to say thank you to all the Patreon members, all the channel members. Y'all really helping drive the ship right now. Let me drive the boat. And of course, everybody who's smashing that like and punching that subscribe. A lot of people ask me, hey, why don't you got more subscribers? All I can say is keep breaking the buttons, man. We're going to get there. Keep breaking them buttons. Finance is just kind of boring, but we got to get through this crypto infrastructure stuff before we get to the play. Once the play with the blockchain games and all that stuff get here, we gonna grow easy. But first, I want this portfolio looking right, because some of y'all gonna be rich and be them pieced out by the end. And so, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this one pager. Looking a little more into the new announcements from Onyx, I started over here on the one pager. Gonna be honest, this is fantastic if you know what you're looking for. They got this ecosystem integration section, and the one I want to point out first is obviously Privy or Privy, secure authentication and privacy tools. Let's check out Privy. Yeah, we're gonna call it Privy because Privy is kind of, Privy is also kind of, but all right, it's Privy. So it's an authentication and key management platform. It's got claims here of 20 million users. Of the ones on the scroll board, none of these made me jump for joy, mainly because I don't know what most of them are yet. But of course, we see OpenSea is there, and we know they get a lot of traffic when the NFT market is booming. Some of the main features called out: authentication, onboarding, and granular security controls. As a pro privacy person, this again doesn't get me super excited because it sounds like a lot of wallet registration and then the ability to block addresses, take that stuff how you want to, but good things for the ease of use side of stuff. They do got these APIs for cross-chain and some native bridges. Further down, towards the bottom of the page here, they got some policy nerd stuff that actually gives me some confidence. They're claiming a SOC 2 attestation in December of 2024. This is one of those compliance things that is important. A couple quick takeaways from what that means. It evaluates the effectiveness of security controls around sensitive data. This one supports enterprise sales, definitely important for any companies that are going to be dealing with finances. As you can see, it's not free. Validity and cost around $10,000 to $50,000 annually, so not to be taken lightly. And it gives us some other policy to compare uses against. In summary, a SOC 2 Type 2 report is a service organization control audit on how a cloud-based service provider handles sensitive information. It covers both the sustainability of a company's controls and its operating effectiveness. So returning to Privy here, they got these other audits and security tests that have taken place in a bug bounty program that's still active. I'm definitely a fan of the project's choice, at least in terms of safety with identity control. So let's go ahead and get to the next one here. The super bridge. We know what that's all about. XCN transfers, Ethereum, Base, Onyx Layer 3. Actually, two things here. Remember, the Binance Bridge mentioned in the white paper that was there before this Layer 3 decision. Then also, they keep specifically calling it Onyx Layer 3, which seems intentional. If we go back to OIP 36, this was actually another Layer 3 suggestion. The debate was to pause on Layer 1 and build out on 3. But it got defeated with the majority voting to keep prioritizing the Layer 1. So it could be some of those same disgruntled stakeholders that stuck around and now they getting their time to shine, right? Or not. Checking the white paper, we see this thing about a wormhole bridge. This is meant to make sure that XCN tokens can get from ETH to Binance Smart Chain. When they get sent from ETH, the tokens go into a wormhole that just says, look, stay here until I figure out what to do with you, while it recreates those tokens on the Binance side. As tokens come back over from Binance, the Binance versions are burned, and then the ETH tokens are released from the wormhole. So the super bridge and the wormhole keep things flexible. Then we got Tenderly here. Tenderly is smart contract infrastructure. What I thought was dope here is they have a simulator where you can play out current and historical transactions and test the outcomes before sending them on chain. Huge asset to smart contract development with that. And supported networks list is everything you want to see: Ethereum, Base, Binance Smart Chain, and Arbitrum in respect to Onyxcoin. But some others here we should definitely recognize: Polygon, Avalanche, Gnosis, even Blast there. And actually, if you click into, if you click in to see all, they got Barachain and Flare in here. Barachain is starting to pop up a lot for me. I might have to look into that. But then we got Third Web and Decent or Descent. Decent. Third Web being no-code Web3 app development. We can see some of the people they work with. Rarible, Aave is literally like a little Tamagotchi game for Aave, if some of y'all remember those. Then Circle, Coinbase, AWS, Polygon. But what I thought was interesting about Third Web is this product they have called Insight. Insight lets you run queries for blockchain data on any Ethereum virtual machine. You can query the data a number of ways. You can see in this diagram, Postgres, AWS, and Snowflake, all three of those reaching back into this data for Base, Treasure, Ruby, which is a crypto native, it's for crypto native games, and then Zai, which is a new one for me, but you can see it's for gamers to trade in-game items. Again, we can see something else that makes a lot of sense for that Tron partnership. I'm sorry, but this was not just a hip fire agreement. This move made sense before it was even tabled, and they knew it. It was just a matter of figuring out how much, in my opinion, how much control was going to be given up. Then finally, we got Decent. And this to me is just a nicer to have kind of thing. It gives you a little more access. You see, we got Doodles on the screen. I wouldn't sleep on Doodles. I don't own a lot of that project, but they were the first meme coin on Base. And don't forget, they had a deal with McDonald's. We already know McDonald's got the metaverse plans thanks to Tailcoin the Magic Button. Then other partners we see in the loop here with Arbitrum, because they are also partnered with Alchemy. Then of course the Ape Club and Layer 0. There's a lot of stuff here with Decent, but you can see the point of sale API, and then the app has over 20 swappable chains. Barachain is in here, and I'm sorry, but if I keep seeing Barachain everywhere, I'm gonna have to look at it. Not quite done yet, but as we can see, XCN took the people's elbow right along with the rest of the market. When the token is high, everybody say they wish they bought more, but when it's beat down, it's trash. Don't nobody want to buy it. It's kind of confusing, but anyway, over on X, they got a reminder that Goliath is live now. Actually, Goliath is the main net. Shout out to Canvas. He was this was in one of his comments. He asked about this, and he's the only one who I know brought up the possibility of mainnet back when he said it. So shout out to Canvas. I had a sneaky suspicion, but he's the only one that I saw mention it before they announced it. And it only makes sense given where we are with crypto in 2025. If you research other finance related projects and you do some dot connecting, we see that the writing is pretty much on the wall for crypto finance in general. Just have to read it. Then we can see for Onyxcoin in general, a lot of folks are staking with another record month for XCM rewards payouts finishing up as of February. And now we're going to have some fun. We're going to have some fun to end this thing because we ain't done this in a long time. It's been a while. The market been all doom and gloom, and we can't do nothing about these big players dumping on everybody, but this is what we can do. Taking a look at the posted investors list for Onyxcoin again, there's this name at the bottom that doesn't get a lot of shine. I overlooked this myself, I have to admit, but David Coulter, folks, or Coulter, we're gonna go with Coulter. Now, there's actually several David Coulters. If you search just this name, you might get thrown off a bit. There's only two that garner interest in my opinion though. One is this guy who is a former employee of Fiserv, and at first glance, I thought that was him, but after further review, there's only one David Coulter who's a former CEO of Bank of America. Check this out. Sourced by clicking on this old link to a State Street article. At the top, we see that Jim Robinson was the third. Jim Robinson the third, was actually on the board of directors, but the juice is at the bottom here. Existing chain investors, Coastal Ventures, RE Ventures, Thrive Capital, and SV Angel also participated and were joined by former Bank of America CEO David Coulter. Check this guy out. LinkedIn last marked vice chairman of Warburg Pincus, but this is the Focus Army and Carnegie Mellon got us. Served as vice chairman, managing director, and senior advisor at Warburg Pincus. Mr. Coulter retired in September 2005 as vice chairman of who? That's right, JP Morgan and Chase Company. Came to JP Morgan by way of acquisition, and he was the chairman and chief executive officer of the Bank of America Corporation and Bank of America National Trust and Savings Association, and was there for over 20 years. So we now have not one but two former JP Morgan employees associated with XCN, and as a bonus, we're going back here to Mike Kennedy again because him coming from Zelle is important, but what's more important to me is the Zelle clients, and we can see those here. JP Morgan Chase, another one. And of course, we know Citi is another investor and user of Onyx. Definitely came across Bank of America when we was doing our research into Visa, so we know how tied these companies are. Now, I wanted to stop right there. I really did. But the Focus Army wouldn't let me. They wouldn't let me. Somebody reached out and said, you gotta mention how addicted JP Morgan is to this word Onyx again. You have to. So they asked me to do an address check on a company called Onyx Acquisition LLC. So you know I did that. Now, first thing to point out, the registration is lapsed, but we do see that for some reason it says the entity is still active. The crazy thing about it though is outside of this, if you go look up 270 Park Avenue, New York, chances are you might just come across some old JP Morgan Chase documents. I wish I was making this up. I wish I was. I'm like, come on, no way. So I said, let me just do a separate search for Onyx Acquisition LLC. Came to some site I never heard of before called GuideStar, but the domain registration is still good till 2027. So I look at it and I see this officer name in the middle, Joseph Pystone. So I just had to check him out. Go look at him, senior managing director at Graystar, and another former JP Morgan Chase employee. Oh my. I am done, y'all. I am done. I'm done. I'm not looking into this project no more. I'm done. I quit. But that's all I have for this video, man. And we're going to go ahead and end this thing with a question. The startup roster is looking pretty incredible right about now. Do you think this is looking like a team who likes to throw $40+ million at something and watch it fail? You know what my answer is. What's yours? And until next time, don't get shook. Stay focused. And I'm out.